Hey guys, this is just a quick video on balancing beads. I've been working on them for probably an hour or two. Just kind of talking about the different methods. There's two different methods I see people use to put them in. One method being that what's considered the easy way. That's putting it through the valve stem. And I tried doing that. I did it for this tire right here. That took me probably about an hour to get that one in. And so I decided I was gonna go ahead and try popping the bead and getting it on, which I was kind of scared of doing, but it was actually pretty easy to do. And I've done 2 in like 45 minutes now because I've been switched over to that other method. So I'm gonna explain on the last tire on how to do it by popping the bead, which is pretty easy to do. And then I'm gonna kind of explain the differences a little bit more as I go through. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to do the last one. I'm gonna go ahead and take the last tire off and then show you how I pop the bead with the floor jack. Okay, so now the tire's off, so I'm gonna go ahead and deflate it all the way. So how we're gonna do that is take the valve stem out with this tool. This tool came with the kit. All you really need is something that can kind of look similar to that. Most of the kits are gonna come with something like this though. You can go ahead and take the valve stem out. As you start to loosen it, air starts to come out, as you can hear. That you just took out, make sure you don't lose it. Usually they come with new valve stems, but one of mine wasn't making a seal, so I had to reuse this other one. So make sure you don't lose that. It's gonna fly out when you do that though. All right, next thing you do is you're gonna take the floor jack, put it underneath it, and then we're gonna ratchet strap it to the tire, essentially making a vise that we can squeeze with. If you don't ratchet strap it, you're just gonna push the tire up. So that's why we have to do it, so we can kind of pinch it. And you're gonna put the part of basically as close as you can get to the rim without actually touching the rim. So you're gonna take this part, it's gonna be right here on the other side of the wheel. So you're gonna take the side that you're not gonna see, put it onto the jack stand, or the jack, and then jack up. As you can see here, it's ratchet strapped to the tire. Make sure you do the front of the jack stand and underneath the jack stand. So underneath, make sure you have it mounted there. And then if you look down in the wheel, it's also mounted to the front of the jack stand and then around everything. Now we're probably gonna have to do this a few times. We're probably gonna have to do kind of each side of the wheel. So starting here, we might have to go over to here, maybe one more time right there, and that's gonna pop it off the bead. Alright, so you can feel up underneath here and feel that the bead is not touching the wheel anymore. But I'm gonna loosen it, and then I'm gonna probably have to go to the other side and do it, because that's what I had to do on the other sides. So that's gonna be what's next. So loosen it first from the jack stand. From the floor jack, sorry. Then loosen your ratchet straps, pull it up. Okay, so you can see we popped the bead right here, but the rest of it's still fully on there, so we're gonna have to do the other sides. Okay, so it ended up taking this side off, but then putting that side back on. So just keeping on with it. The rest of the tires didn't do that to me, but that one did. So okay, so up right here it's open now. Right here it's open now. You can keep trying as you get it open more and more to see if you can get the beads to go in. I found that it has to be off all the way around to be able to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock out this one right here and go ahead and push it out, and that should get it to be free. Alright, so it's free now all the way around, as you can see there. Sometimes it takes a little bit of stepping on trying to get it to come down there, but it's off now, so I'm going to go ahead and pour the beads in and show you how I do that. So what you're going to need is your beads and a flathead. The flathead just is to ply it open a little bit so that they can fall in. You want to basically, I'm going to show you in a second, but you're just going to ply it, open it up, let the beads fall in. And they go in pretty quickly. We're just gonna pour this in like so. Get them all in that spot there. Take your flathead and basically just get in between the tire and the as you can see, they're just going in. Just gotta kind of move them around, and they just keep falling in. So yes, this is taking a little bit longer because we're popping the bead and everything to do this, but you're gonna make up that time and some by how easy it is to pour these things in. Just make sure you're not losing any and they're all going into the tire. You're going to screw your valve stem now. That's going to hold the air in, and then we're going to talk about how to get it to pop back on the bead. Okay, so the beads are in now. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to inflate it. Now, you're normally just going to put the air compressor and fill it up, but because we popped the bead now, we need to help it by putting a ratchet strap around it, like I'm sure you've seen other people do. but that's just going to kind of force the air to stay in so that it will pop the bead back into place. Okay, so just kind of lay it over the top and then kind of wheel it right there on top or on the bottom. So get it tight, ratchet it. Once it's tight, get your air compressor. Alright, so now it's seated, as you can see there. So now you're just going to pump it up like normal. You're going to remove the ratchet strap now. Okay, so everything's bolted back on. I'm going to be driving around for about a week, and then the next little bit of this video, I'll talk about how they are, what my experience has been with them, with driving on the highway, driving lower speeds as well, just to try to get an idea of that, and I'll let you know how that goes. But everything's bolted on. I believe it took me about an hour and a half to 2 hours to do 3 tires, and then it took me over an hour to do 1 tire with trying to do it through the valve stem. So I would recommend doing it with the popping the bead, but that's up to you, what you feel comfortable with. I just found it to be a lot faster and a lot less frustrating. Even if it's not a whole ton faster, I would still do the popping the bead just because it takes forever and just it's so annoying to just sit there and try to tap the thing, trying to get it to go through. And I tried a couple things that I saw on YouTube as well, like using something to keep it vibrating, and that worked decent, but it's just a lot of beads trying to get it in. I have 35s and I use 12 ounces of balancing beads per tire, and so I think that's gonna work. That's what they recommend, and we'll see how that goes. I really like it because I don't have to keep getting them balanced every time I rotate them. It's just going to be for the life of the tire, so I'm excited about that. They say it's going to improve gas mileage. I have no idea how, and they also say it improves the life of the tire, which would be a plus as well. So I'll let you guys know in about a week kind of what it looks like and how it's been working. So unfortunately for me, the balancing beads didn't really work out super well. It was really a situation where it probably wasn't the best case scenario for them to work. One of my tires is slightly uneven on the wear, so that's what's causing the issue with the balancing, and normal balancing wasn't working, so that's why I was trying to use the balancing beads, but they didn't work either. I had to end up road force balancing them, which cost a little bit more money, but it worked. And it was a shimmy around 45 to 50 miles per hour, which I'm sure you've probably read about if you're having the same kind of issues. But I've had a lot of friends that have good experience with the balancing beads, so don't be afraid of them because it didn't work out for me. Especially if you're starting with new tires, I wouldn't be worried about it. They should work pretty well. Balancing beads not working for me. Shouldn't be a concern for you just because my tires were unevenly worn. At least one of them was, and so that's what was causing the issue. The shimmy that was going on. I was trying to fix that with the balancing beads, and it's just not a good situation for it to work. It really needs to be a pretty good tire to start out with. So don't be afraid of them. There's lots of people that it works out really well for them, but if it's an issue where the tires are not evenly worn, that could be causing the issue, and the balancing beads are not going to work super well in that situation. But a lot of people have good experience with them. I'm going to link some videos below that I watched making this video. I just kind of compiled them all into one. I hope that this helps you figuring out if you want to do balancing beads or not, what technique you want to do and how to get them in. This helps you make that decision.